from those creatures, there are other beings called principalities and powers. It is among them that will find those who command the angelic quadrant. And so you have amongst them archangels. Some of them are warriors, some of them are keepers of secrets, and one of those archangels is called Gabriel. And when Gabriel appeared to Zacharias, he made a statement that almost confounded my theology. When Zacharias doubted him, Gabriel did not consult God. Gabriel passed a judgment, and the reason Gabriel had authority to pass judgment is that I am Gabriel that standeth in the presence of God. So it takes powers, it takes authority to stand in the presence of God. And so one of the princes that had the privilege of standing in the presence of God decided to rebel. And when he rebelled, he came down with 1/3 of the angels. Those are the beings that are battling with you and I. And so when we talk about warfare, it's not a joke. You are dealing with a creature that was walked in the presence of God. He knows the elders, he knows the 4 beasts, he knows the archangels. He was himself an archangel, and because he was doing business in the presence, he knows that Elohim has no weakness. We have lived in his presence for aeons. There is no weakness with Elohim. And so when he was judged, there was nothing he could do. He hated God, he wanted to fight God, but there was no basis. You couldn't attack this being. I was in the presence with the elders, with the 4 beasts, with the archangel. God has no weakness. Until after many aeons, he now discovered God embarked on a project, and God said, let us make man in our own image, after our likeness. And the guy was watching. God has never created anything like himself. God has never created anything in his order. What is it that God wants with this man, this new creature? This one is not an elder, this one is not an archangel, this one is not a beast. What is it God wants to create? And when God announced it, he said, I want to create a being that bears my image. He said, God has decided to create something that can carry us into God. Before now, when we checked him, there was no weakness. If he wants to create something like him, then if we get that thing, we will get God. And true to his word, when he attacked man, the heart of God was broken, because for the first time the angels discovered that even God could have weakness.